What's going on, everybody? Whit and Cari here. Excited to be jumping on the Daily Dose of Awesome with you guys today because we got some great content. And I know it's been a little while since we've done this. So
I want to ask you a question real quick. You know, 95% of the time we're always saying, what's your numbers, right? What are your numbers telling you when it comes to Facebook ads, when it comes to your entire business, actually? But this is kind of true like 95% of the time.
Yep, I always say at least 95% is a science, and the other 5% is total instinct. But how many of you guys right now are running ads in your business? Okay, I want to know. Drop me a comment down below, and as you're jumping on, please comment who you are, where you're from. Let us know where you guys are coming in from.
Yes.
That way we can give you guys a shout out as you're coming on. But how many of you guys are running ads currently in your business? Okay. Yes. Martell, what's up?
Hey,
Fran, what's going on, girl? Julie, what's up?
Good to see
we're
you
going to have
guys.
comments. You might have to use the mouse down there to kind of scroll a little bit.
Let's see here. Oh,
we have a unique setup. There we
go.
Yes.
Hey, Julie, good to see you. So when we're talking about like 95% of the time you want to be looking at your numbers, what about the other 5%?
Yeah, what about the other 5%, you know?
It happens a lot.
All the time, because there's always going to be certain situations, especially if you're running ads, guys. The whole point of this is we want to help you avoid some of the pitfalls where, you know, the numbers are telling you everything is good, but there has to be a little instinct in this, and when it comes to experience, okay? And one of the biggest things that we always say is you need to run more ads, you need to test more things so that way you can gain that experience. And me and Cari actually have a story that we're going to share with you guys of
Did we
something.
introduce ourselves?
Yeah, I said Whit and Cari earlier.
Okay, good. I was fiddling around with this at the time.
Yep.
Okay, but anyways, we do have a story that we want to share because
this holds true to your numbers.
Yes, it holds true. Not only does it hold true to your numbers, but it's actually like outside of ads and how it actually can be transferred. Everything you do can be transferred. So into
your life. Well, as most of you know, I know Cari did a post the other day in the Elite Marketing Pro community.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. So, you know, my dad, he's actually been in the hospital for the last month. Lost him a couple weeks ago, and me and Cari actually went up there right before we lost him. We were actually sitting in his hospital room with him, just spending the night with him, just because, you know, he wanted somebody there. He wanted to communicate with somebody that he knew and stuff like that. And obviously the doctors, nurses, and stuff aren't always in his room, right? And so as we were sitting there, I remember the next morning, he kind of had a rough morning, and he was kind of getting worse and worse and worse. And I remember standing out in the hallway, and the doctor that was taking care of him was actually standing out there with a 4-year resident that was just finishing up her 4-year residency there. And anyways, as I'm sitting here listening to these guys, like they're sitting here going through the numbers and all that stuff. And what's funny is as I'm sitting here listening to these guys, like he's sitting here reading off all of these numbers. Well, this number's this number's that. And so this gives us a few options. We could go this route, we could go this route. Well, we've already tried this route, and so we're going to go down this route now based off of this number.
And how many times does this happen in your ads?
Yeah.
Where you're looking at all of your numbers and you're like, well, I've tried fixing this. I've tried doing this. The numbers are getting worse. Like, you know, the numbers are telling me to do this. What should I do? What should I do next?
Yeah. How many of you guys have done that right now in your numbers? Just drop me a me down below if you guys are experiencing that. Maybe even currently right now in your Facebook advertising. You know, if you have changed this and you have changed that, and you feel like there's a lot of different pathways that you could go down, and whether or not, you know, I should go down this path or this path. How many of you guys have experienced that before? Guys, this is something that me and Cari are testing a few ads right now, and guess what we're going through? Same exact thing, where we're trying to, you know, evaluate. We've got a lot of different things that we can share. So Sharon, going through that, absolutely. Love it, love it, love it.
This story actually has a happy ending.
Yes.
There's no loss here, which is really good.
Yes. No loss.
No loss.
No loss. This does have a happy ending.
And this also brings true to the power of following your numbers and then where that instinct comes in. So
absolutely. And so anyways, as I'm sitting out here listening and they're going through all of these different scenarios of what they did, one thing kind of came to me so they picked a pathway. They just said, okay, look, you know, based on this, this, and this, we're going to go down this path, okay? And so they decided to go down that path, and which was a good path. You know, it's something that up there that they hadn't tried yet in this hospital, so they went down this path. And everybody felt good about it. And the cool thing was is they solely based it off of the numbers.
Yep.
Okay, it was,
what are his oxygen numbers doing?
Yep.
What are his kidney numbers doing?
Yep.
What is his CO2 level?
Yep.
It was all externally verifiable numbers that the doctors were looking at to make these decisions.
Yeah, and so for them, it was an easy decision to make because they had all of this data based on how long he had been there, and they'd been keeping track of things over quite a few days. And they settled on one thing that they were going to do, and they were going to give him steroids for his lungs to try to really boost them and get those things going, because he had a lot of inflammation in his lungs, so it made it hard for him to breathe. Okay, and they also had him on a machine that was helping him breathe a little bit to keep pressure in his lungs, to keep him open longer, so hopefully he could clear out a lot of that stuff. Well, so long story short, guys, the next morning, the next day, me and Cari leave. One of his daughters comes in to stay with him, and next thing I know, the next morning we get a call that says that his lungs popped. Okay, so one of his lungs just burst, and that's when they almost lost him. Okay, and here's where the 5% comes in. Okay, because they have all of this data based on this, and this, and they were following a path that was a very good path. It was helping him, but then all of a sudden his lung popped. Okay. And all of a sudden, this is where the instinct had to come in for them of not just throwing the numbers out the door, and then all of a sudden having to just go off of instinct and experience and making a decision on how to keep him alive.
So it was funny because you could see all the residents, the doctors that hadn't been there as long, all of a sudden they were flocking to the doctor, the respiratory therapist who has been there for, what was it,
47 years.
47 years he's been doing this. And they were all going to him because he had the most experience.
Yep.
So how does this apply to,
your business. Let's round this out.
Let's round this out, okay? And then we'll kind of finish off the story and tell you how that went after. So here inside the community, you start an ad, and that's one of the first things that you learn how to do inside the roadmap. And you're going along, and your numbers are telling you different things.
Well, when you go through the Know Your Metrics training, right? You go through that training to really learn, okay, what are these numbers telling me? What is Facebook giving me?
Hopefully you're doing good after your first
round of radiation. Yeah, so everybody,
we've been praying for you.
Give Jan a lot of prayers, because she's going through something in her life right now, trying to get better. So, and that is a long road, and sometimes not the best road, absolutely. And so Jan, definitely in our prayers. But so a lot of you, when you first get started with this and you're learning how to run Facebook ads, the main thing that we focus on is understand the numbers, understand the numbers, understand the numbers. And the reason being is because as you start to run ads and you start to do that stuff, one of the hardest things to eliminate is actually the human element when it comes to advertising. The emotion out of it. Yep.
You're putting money into this, and all you see in the beginning is money going out the door. Facebook is taking my money. That's what that's a phrase that we hear all the time.
And I haven't made any leads and sales yet. I'm spending all of this money, but I haven't generated leads and sales yet. So I can't keep doing this. Okay, that is the human emotion coming out.
Yep.
Okay.
And so where you have this emotion, these doctors have had to learn how to take the emotion out of it and just read the numbers, right? They're actually, like, a human life is in their hands.
Yep.
When they're
life or death,
or death, and they're reading these numbers, and they're going off of the numbers. The numbers are telling them to do certain things because of the experience and because they're doing it. When they were first in this situation, I saw someone say that you're scared to death to do it. Imagine that doctor the very first time they have a human life in their hands, right? You don't have a human life in your hands with Facebook ads, but you do have that emotion of the money going out the door, right? And what that means for you.
And for a lot of them, it might even be the same feeling, just like a doctor would be losing a life, because your life, is at stake in the sense of, am I going to be able to support so-and-so? Am I going to be able to continue to move forward? So we understand that human element. That's the reason that we teach so hard, to understand the numbers, so that way you guys have a pathway to go down. Now,
so these doctors, they're following the numbers, and the numbers keep getting worse. How many times has this happened with your own ads, where maybe you're coming to the more experienced people who have been doing this a little bit longer than you, and they're telling you to do certain things, but the numbers continue to get worse on your ad. This rings true all the time. It's been happening even with Whit and Cari ads right now, where we've been doing stuff and we're going by the numbers, and things are getting a little worse, but we continue to test, and we continue to tweak. And then we look at the numbers. Well, when John's lung popped, All of a sudden, let's say your ad's doing great and then it crashes. This is going to happen all the time.
All the time.
There's a few people that have experienced this over the last couple of weeks where they had an ad that was absolutely killing it, and then all of a sudden
it just goes downhill quick. Yep.
Right? This is where experience comes in.
Okay.
Okay.
And some of you might not have enough experience yet to really apply the experience, wholeheartedly. But for example, mine and Cari, we had an ad running the last 5 months that had been doing really, really well. Well, all of a sudden, come April, around Easter time, I was taking Cari to do one of the workshops for Elite Marketing Pro. I was taking her up to the airport, and all of a sudden, like, we hadn't had sales in 2 or 3 days. Our leads started going down.
A lot of money, right? We've been doing this a while.
Yeah, we were spending a lot of money per day, and emotionally, the numbers were telling us, okay, it's time to shut it off. We need to make a change. We need to make a change. We need to make a change. But we've been running ads for quite a while now, to where I understood that, look, there's going to be the ups and downs and the fluctuation, even when there is consistent leads and sales coming in. There is going to be a time where things are going to start to fluctuate a little bit, where you might have a really dead period, and then all of a sudden it can start going. Well, Cari wanted to
shut the ad off,
shut it off, revamp it, do something different. And I just had the instinct of, no, like, I'm going to let this ride out, because I just think it's just a time period.
It was Easter weekend, right?
Easter weekend is busy. Yeah.
Spring break.
Exactly. And that's where the instinct started to come in, and we let it run. And that very next week, all of a sudden, it just took off, and it has been running up until this month. So from April till July, we kept it running, and it continued to generate really high number of leads, high number of sales.
We've made an additional $100,000 off of this ad.
Yeah.
Imagine if we had turned it off, right?
Yeah. So somebody said here, I can't write an ad if my life depended on it. Actually,
you can.
I beg to differ. Because the cool thing about this is, guys, a lot of you that are going to be learning the ads process through this, Elite Marketing Pro actually has that process laid out for you. What you need to do now, your first ad, Attraction Marketing, sorry, Attraction Marketing has that all laid out for you. So that way you don't have to do all the legwork up front. You can actually take what's already there and working and use that for your ad copy, and then, and move on from there, and you taking it over and stuff like that. But guys, the whole point of this is removing the human element out of this, the emotion out of this, especially when it comes to it, because there's going to become a time where the numbers are going to tell you one thing, and the instinct has to come in.
But the only way you're going to learn that
is by learning the ad, or by doing the numbers.
Yeah, there have been so many ads we've let run a little too long. There's been so many ads that we shut off too early. So we wouldn't, because of that experience, because of that past experience, we're able to look at that to help determine, okay, are we going to keep our ad running a little longer? Are we going to turn it off?
Yep.
And what's really cool is we're able to go to people that have even been doing it longer than us, and we're able to get advice from them. Matt Barron, Bernie Ceballos, people here inside the community who have been running ads a lot longer than us and have that little bit more experience.
Absolutely.
When we get to that point. And that's what you have here inside the community. You have mentors, you have coaches, you have people who are absolutely crushing it right now with their ads that you can tag in the community and you can ask questions to. And if we don't get to them right away, because sometimes life happens, right? Retag us, right? Retag us. Shoot us a message. Just say, hey, I tagged you in the community. Could you just go check it out?
Yep.
And here's the thing. You have the support, and that's the biggest thing. And so these doctors, when they were working on John, they go to this guy who's been, the respiratory therapist at the hospital for 47 years, and he says, you know what, we're going to do this. That one thing, putting him on a rotating bed, is what saved his life.
Yep.
Okay? And because they did that, we actually have John here today, and he's actually on the mend, and we're actually able to come back and do a daily dose of awesome and bless other people's lives because
it was really cool. But the skill sets you're learning here inside Attraction Marketing, is not only going to be applied to what you're doing currently in your business, but a lot of things revolve around what data is out there and how to make a decision based off of that data and eliminating the human emotion out of it sometimes. Now, I'm not saying that human emotions are bad or having emotions are bad. Not at all. You have all the right to feel the way that you're going to feel, but how do we separate the two when it comes to us making a decision? Because when you have too much emotion, now a lot of the time, especially
logic goes out the door.
Logic goes out the door.
It's like a teeter-totter, okay? When you start to weigh with too much emotion, logic goes out of here.
It's the same with his massage business. Absolutely.
And it's the same thing with logic. If you're all the way with logic and you don't have any emotion, it's like this. There's a balancing act that you have to have. It's okay to have emotion. It's okay to be emotional. You're a human being. But when you're evaluating those ads, you are not going off of gut instinct that 95% of the time, unless you, and when you get to that point where you're like, okay, I've done everything, I've exhausted my resources.
Guys, I promise you, you know when the 5% is going to come in.
Yep.
It's going to hit you like a ton of bricks because you're following everything, you're doing the numbers, and you're doing great, and then all of a sudden something changes really, really quick, and it's almost like that time period of, wait a minute, like you start to wonder, like there's something not right here, there's something weird, like you start to get those kind of weird feelings. That's when the experience is going to come in, guys, and it's hard for me to explain what it feels like or even what to look for. I promise you, you'll know it when it happens, because all of a sudden you'll just be like, whoa. And a lot of this happens with somebody that's running an ad, that has a good ad running for a long period of time, starting to get some things happening. That experience is going to come in more and more and more.
And the biggest thing is to be okay with failing, learning from that past experience, right? These doctors, there's been times where they failed. There's been times where, you know, they haven't been able to save the person, but they've been able to take that experience and they've been able to use it in future experiences. And because of that, our dad, Whit's dad, is still alive. And with your ads, you're going to have ads that, you know, you kill. You're going to have ads that you let run too long. It's okay. There's no failure here. It's just taking that experience and how can you use it and apply it in a future experience so you don't make that mistake again.
Absolutely. And so really what it comes down to, guys, is understanding that it's okay that, you know, not everything is always going to work out. Again, we're not talking about life or death here. Okay, when it comes to you running your ads, you're still going to be alive after if one of your ad fails or something like that. But the point is, guys, is really trust the training that you're getting here inside Attraction Marketing and really understand how that's going to play into your business and take the emotion out of it when you are reading your numbers. Guys, this is probably going to be one of the hardest things you'll ever do, is to try to eliminate this. Again, it's a lot easier for me than it is for Cari.
I wanted to shut the ad off, right?
And I promise you guys,
it's been a week.
That ad made us a couple $100,000 more in the months that we let it run.
And here's the thing. You're going to see that all ads on Facebook
will continue to,
they go like this, right? They fluctuate. You're going to have, and you can't make decisions based off of even just a couple days. Weeks. We look at weeks. We're looking at the overall lifespan of an ad to make decisions. It's not just off of one day. It's not just off of 1 week.
Okay, so guys, what are some of you guys' takeaways from this today? Please, down in the comments real quick, what are some of the takeaways? Oh, whoops.
Stay on the stage.
I accidentally tried to leave you guys. But what are some takeaways that you guys need? I need to get my ad up for review. It's been running for a week, and I have some great scores, it looks like, but no leads yet, which I'm okay with, but I just need to know. Absolutely. So submit for the review, get it taken, get it looked at, or even post it inside the community.
Depending on where you're at in the roadmap and the Sables training, it might be just fine that you don't have leads yourself yet. Okay.
You might be moving on to that next step here in just a minute. But what else? Patience.
Love it.
Okay, what else? What are some other takeaways that you guys had from this daily dose?
Let's see here. Awesome. There was one up here. Oh, let's see. Patience seems important. Absolutely, Michael.
Guys,
absolutely.
This is the hardest thing to get people to understand, because I get it. You're spending money. You're learning a new process. You want a return. Guys,
Richard and Joanna, your human emotions are hard to control sometimes.
Absolutely.
They are so hard, right?
Emotion dictate decisions. Oh, please. Because then you guys start to make decisions based out of desperation, right? And we don't want to make desperate decisions.
Numbers fluctuate, and you can learn from them, good or bad. There's always something to learn.
There is always, all data is good data.
Awesome. Okay? Oh, you guys are awesome. Rebecca, it's good to see you. Okay, great. Let's see. Let's do some trust your instincts.
Between emotion and logic. Absolutely.
Perfect.
Great, guys.
Awesome. I can write an ad. You can, Catherine. You can write an ad.
God, can you?
You are going to write an ad, maybe.
You're going to.
Awesome. You're going to write an ad. Okay, awesome. Guys, Daily Dose of Awesome is live Mondays through Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you haven't set your notifications so that you know when we here at Attraction Marketing go live, so that you can get little nuggets like this, make sure you set those notifications. Whit hates the word nuggets, and I use it on purpose. Okay, awesome. Everybody,
guys,
thank you for being on with us.
And have a great rest of your time.
Fun.
And again, remember, just like Cari said, Daily Dose is going to be live again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure that you guys have your notifications turned on. Guys, we're going to be back with you hopefully soon in the near
2 weeks,
future.
I think.
Yeah,
I think
2
we're
weeks.
set to go 2 weeks.
We're going to be on with you guys again. So guys, keep rocking it, keep rolling, and we will see you guys soon.
See ya.
See you guys.